I would have done this video a bit sooner, but some huge machine was across the street from my house and it was so loud that even the noise filter couldn't drown it out, so I postponed it just a little bit. Mobile 1.4 has arrived, which you all probably know, and Loki from Relogic was in the line of fire on what proved to be a very busy Discord server on launch day. So busy, in fact, that they had to set up posting time limits to prevent people from spamming the channels. And there were some comments made by him on future plans that I thought you might find interesting if you did decide to take a break from your Mobile 1.4 adventuring and go YouTubing for a change. Haribo42 writes, Loki, 1.4 mobile stream sometime? Loki answered with, I sure hope so. He didn't give us a stream, but he did give us this. He shared this video of the Zenith in action while his inventory was open. That's just so much stuff on a mobile screen. Old man me can't get over just how much they can pack onto a phone these days. I know I sound like Methuselah saying that, but it never ceases to amaze me. It's really impressive. And it shows just how much fighting you can do with even the inventory open. So it's a pretty robust control scheme even on mobile devices. Loki said a lot of other stuff, including we launched 1.4 when we did to give folks a light in the darkness that has been 2020. 2020 certainly hasn't been without its hardships for most of us. Relogic and others have provided what I would say is escapism when it's been very needed. Wouldn't you agree? Loki also writes, looks like iOS is out. This was earlier in the morning on launch day. And he carried on with, Google is in the queue, out of our control. Believe it or not, we do not control when Google or Apple release updates. And so on launch day, it would seem that the sequence of release went from Apple iOS devices to Google Android devices, and then eventually it will hit Amazon-based devices. Tip Top Coast writes, Loki, is Amazon getting the update? And the answer from Loki was, yup, just subject to the whims of Amazon in regards to timing. Perhaps Mr. Bezos knows when, but we don't. And he clarified further by saying, we have no control over when Google or Amazon release 1.4. All the buttons on our end have been pressed. And then just checking out Twitter, DR Studio's Twitter account cleared this up a little bit when they posted this. That John Lithgow meme was theirs, by the way. I didn't add that in. So they're obviously waiting as eagerly as we are. If you're on an Amazon-based mobile device, looks like you're getting it just slightly delayed, and this is kind of in keeping with the 1.3 release. As I recall, Amazon users had to wait just a little longer on that as well. So they're kind of the forgotten third party, but you know, as frustrating as it is, it's still way faster than it was releasing games back in the day. Just to keep at the old man commentary, I just don't want to think about what an ordeal it must have been to get those Nintendo approved cartridges into retail stores back in the 80s and 90s, back when Nintendo was the only game in town and it was all brick and mortar. Or I guess the same would apply for a Master System game if you're in a place where Sega was more dominant. Anyway, Keyboard writes, Loki, is it only out in certain countries right now? And Loki writes, in response to that, we don't have any control over when it releases in whatever country on whatever platform. I have to say, I thought about platforms. I never really considered the individual country aspect, so I guess it's really a roll of the dice depending on exactly where you are on the planet. Loki also wrote, and then we get to work on the other fun surprises coming your way after this is done and dusted. I think that's important enough. I'm actually going to post it again. Loki wrote, and then we get to work on the other fun surprises coming your way after this is done and dusted. So cryptic, so promising. What could he mean? Loki also shared this image and said, be sure to play World Name Generator. It's the best minigame since Minesweeper. For my part, I had already taken note of the weird names. I generated a journey mode world earlier called the Hamlet of Panic, which frankly seems rather pedestrian by comparison. Loki also said, Terraria may have simple graphics, but it is far from a simple game hardware-wise. What DR has done in regards to pulling in older devices is magic, I tell you. DR are wizards for getting this out so soon. Yeah, I think everyone's on board with DR Studios being staffed by wizards. That's our attitude, at least. I think everyone's in agreement on that. Let's just hope that they're console wizards as well, because the console users are still stuck in 1.3 land. Christian writes, Loki, the Terraria 1.4 mobile will have those physics and water, lava, and honey just like PC. And it was actually not Loki, but Angry Hippo from DR Studios who responded. So they got an answer direct from the source, and Angry Hippo responded with, the refractions and waves aren't in yet, but if you set the lighting mode to color, everything else is. So, if you're thinking you're missing some liquid effects, be sure that you set your color option, or your lighting option rather, to color, and you might be getting some of those missing fluid effects that you think you should have. Jason writes, Loki, do you have plans to put mods in the game? Loki's response, mods outside of PC are challenging, but I would love to see it. Atharva5720 writes, Loki, do you think Tmod Loader will come out for mobile? I'd love to play modded Terraria. Loki answered that with, I would love to see that, but lots of work and obstacles to that. But who knows, maybe someday. That would certainly extend the life of the game on mobile devices considerably. There are thousands of mods. Ryle writes, Loki, are you guys planning for a new game since updates are coming to end? Okay, so are you guys planning for a new game since the updates are coming to an end? If so, I'm sure it's pretty memorable too. And Loki's response to that was, Ryle, we always have secret plans. You will have to wait and see. So, I'm going to break a trend, and twice in one video, I'm actually going to repeat the quote. Loki answered, we always have secret plans. You will have to wait and see. I can't wait, but I guess I'll have to. Loki also said, this is 1405. 1.4.1 will come later. Later means later. 1.4.1 has been out on PC for an entire week and is still in hotfix mode. So, yeah, it's coming. It's coming, guys. Just give it a minute because they're still apparently hotfixing it. And it sounds like really they want to get those hotfixes done so that they figure 1.4.1's quirks out before trying to port it over to mobile devices. Brad wrote, Loki, now y'all working on console, right? No doubt the thought that's on a lot of people's minds, and Loki answered with, I would assume some mobile hotfixes will be needed first, so maybe not the most encouraging comment from Loki, but it's in keeping with their design philosophy, I suppose. They want to make sure that what they've put out works, and then they'll move on to console. But, the silver lining to that cloud is the fact that they're not going to give mobile 1.4.1 until console gets 1.4, at least as far as I can tell. Legendary Zenith writes, I can't play because of my not compatible device. Loki answered with, there were 112 phones and 10 tablets on Android that became unsupported due to too low of a Google API out of nearly 10,000 supported devices. That might be impacting you. Bad luck there, friend. MJHL writes, Loki, will there be a better way to make servers and play online multiplayer other than using the router and IP address or VPNs or PCs? Loki's answer to that was, on the list for the team to explore, cannot promise anything yet though. So in what I would call a somewhat strange turn of events, they've actually been more guarded and reserved with discussing developing multiplayer features and when exactly console will get 1.4, and they've actually been a little, I'm not saying that Loki spilled the beans or anything, but with those two quotes, which I'll show again here, Loki actually did at least tease out that, they're not ending the game studio. They have some secrets that they're working on. And, for his part, Redigit, who's the head honcho over at Relogic, he said that they're going to, keep any development a little more guarded this time. They were disappointed with how Otherworld shook out. Now, I think they're probably going to be pretty far along before they decide to reveal their next project, assuming there is a next project. It sounds like there may be. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll keep posting videos. It's been a busy month, and we've got a state of the game coming out in the next few days, I suspect. So stay tuned to the channel. Thanks for watching. And those with the mobile devices, I hope you're enjoying Mobile 1.4.